So we all had good food to eat. I hope what you heard this morning is not under the food. Maybe to lift it up a little bit, I will go over and scratch a little bit, you know. So what were we talking about? What were we talking about? Marriage, family, yes. Yes. So we said many things. I started out by saying that don't you have a dream about marriage? You know, you have to have a dream about marriage. You have a visualize yourself as a very godly wife or a godly husband, you know. One day living with a woman, living with a man, giving birth to children and raising them up for the glory of God and for our building of our nation as good citizens, honest, faithful, tax-paying citizens of this country. You know, that sort of, you know, we have to have a dream. You have to say yourself, I'm going to contribute to the cause of Christ and to the cause of this nation. We need to. We have to be proud Christians and proud Indians. I will say that. We need to be, yes. So, you know, you have to have a dream. If you don't have a dream, you don't reach anywhere, you know. You get a dream, but then if you are only a dreamy person, your life is never going to be meaningful, you know. You will always be fantasizing on maybe, you know, living with the, you know, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of all. You expect the mirror to say that you are the fairest of that all, but then it's not going to be changed. So I said that you need to work to make your dream come to fulfill your dream, to make it real. Hard work, honest work. And that most people are not. They want by accident a good marriage to come. They want God to make up the deficiencies, you know. No, God is not going to do that. He is gracious, He often does it, but you can never count on it. Thank you. That's a big cup I love to see and drink from. So I said hard work is needed. Hard work is needed. When should you begin this hard work? I pointed out that your parents are living your married life now. You have been watching them, observing them, you are copying them knowingly or unknowingly. And then the day comes when you will marry and you know, you're going to behave just like your mother behaved or just like your father behaved, because that's what you have seen. Even if you don't like their lives, you know, unknowingly they influenced you. So unless you say, I am not going to imitate that, because my father was an angry man, he used to beat my wife and my mother, or my mother is a very insubordinate woman, always fought with my father, I'm not going to follow that pattern. Well, if you decide like that and then by God's grace you're going to work on it, then you have hope. Otherwise, silently you will follow, you know, that. And that's the way we are all, because we, you know, we are copycats. We learn from others and not consciously always commit mistakes. Mistakes come naturally, but the correction of mistakes doesn't come naturally, but deliberately, you know, deliberately. So that's the way. So you need to work on it. Work very hard, I say, work very hard. Then I asked the question, what exactly is a marriage? And I gave a definition of marriage. And I said that marriage is a covenant between a mature man and a mature woman to share lives in their totality until death do them apart, with the triune God, the archangels, and the church as witnesses, with the approval and the blessings of both parents and the churches. And this covenant is made in the presence of relatives, friends, and fellow believers, in accordance to the law of the land and the law of God, or the word of God, and the custom of God's people. You know, we were expanding on it, how marriage is not a contract, it's a covenant. It's not upon conditions, I don't do my duties because my wife is doing her duty. Whether my wife does or does not, it doesn't matter. I am supposed to do my duty because I stood beside her and said that I will love you, I will care for you, provide for you, and didn't say that if you do this, then I will love you. No, I didn't say that. So I have to be a gentleman. I have to keep my words. Lot of people, take covenants, One of these days I have, conduct a lot of weddings here and there. So many times I thought, but one of these days I'm going to print the covenant they're going to take, and then I'm going to ask both of them right at the bottom and give them as a wedding gift a framed copy. They can hang it right against their bed every evening. Look at it, in bold letters. And so that when he starts fighting, look at it, read the covenant loud, that sort of. Because people take covenant and they forget about it. Honestly. Every married man, you remember what all covenants you have made? I don't remember, but I know what my wife said. That's what I was interested. And hopefully my wife knows what I said. And between the two, I think we have a good family life, So it's a covenant, not a contract. It's between two adult, mature adults, not between grown-up boy and grown-up girl. Sad I said that. Marriages these days are for grown-up boys and grown-up girls. Why, lot of people who get married, they are not ready to marry. They should not be marrying now. They have no concept of marriage. They are not adult people by any stretch of imagination. Only biological maturity is there. No moral, emotional, spiritual, character-wise maturity is there, and therefore they suffer, And marriage is a permanent affair. Only death could separate. You cannot think of, don't enter into marriage with the option of a divorce. I said that, are you entering into this marriage that it will last until death? Whatever happens, you have to say each other, we will work it out. Whatever happens, we will work it out. We will not allow divorce or separation to come into it. We will work it out. Even if we have to pay a great high price or suffer, we will work it out. Our marriage will not fail. That sort of a covenant you have to take. This is a determination. Now people enter into it, with the option of divorce and separation. If it doesn't work out, I'll find somebody else. Move on. That sort of, no. Marriage you cannot. If you take that sort of a thinking you have, then your marriage is not going to be successful. Marriage covenant is made with the full knowledge and blessing of your parents. That's a normal, There are situations where your parents will not agree because they don't agree you marrying a believer, or they don't agree you marrying a convert from other religion, or that sort of, if their disagreement is on spiritual matters, then forget about it. You sympathize with them, I sympathize with them, They cannot do anything more than that. I still remember when one of our brothers married, he was the son of a Orthodox priest. His grandfather was a priest on father's side, grandfather on mother's side was a priest, his own father was a priest, and they're all priests, and this trained him to be a doctor and all. Then of course I had the privilege of leading him to the Lord and baptizing him, and then he was getting married and all that, so the father wrote me a big letter about, 10-15 pages. I can see the anger in every sentence just blowing, and you have misguided my son, and you only doing this one because you want the tithe from him, and this, and this all sorts of thing, and God will not forgive you. It's a happy family, you destroyed it. I wanted my son to be married and become a priest, that, all that. I did not reply to it. I did not reply, but I kept my letter with him. I prayed, and then after many years, the reconciliation has taken place, and one day he met me, and he asked me that, why you didn't reply that letter? I couldn't call him Achanori. I said, Appacha, I know the feelings of a father. I know you are grieved. Rightfully you are grieved. You are a priest. You have prestige, honor. You know. I know that with this marriage, your image in your church has gone down and all that. So every sentence I could understand feelings, but I cannot make a compromise because what the Bible teaches. So I respect your feelings. I don't want to say anything to add to that feelings. If I say the truth, your feelings will more be. So I prayed for you and all, okay? So he accepted. But I mean, we need to understand, we need to understand. Somebody from another religion, their son or daughter got into Christianity and then marrying a Christian, and, they cannot stand it. They live in a community and everybody will be looking down them and all. We need to understand how they feel. But we cannot do any more than that feeling, because this is what the Bible commands, this is what God commands us, so he cannot compromise on it. So involve your families as much as possible. I always say that. Involve your families as much as possible. If the only reason the family won't cooperate is because of the religious reason, you cannot do anything. But on other areas, you do it. So marriage is with the blessings of the parents. Then I said the law of the land, whether it's age, related to health issues, and it may be dowry issues, and so many issues are there. The law of the land and law of the Bible and the customs of God's people, you have to refer all that. And then we kind of morning discussed about, what is a family. We discussed family is what is familiar, and then we discussed many things, family is a relationship between peoples, husband, wife, children, in-laws and all those. Family is a sharing relationship, sharing everything you have, everything, even words and feelings, Family is a growing relationship every day, growing in love, in respect, in care, in encouragement. It's a productive relationship. Family is not consumerism, where somebody is working and somebody is consuming. No. Family is contributing. Both, even the children, little children contribute to the family, not in money and all, but to the happiness of the family. And, everybody has to be. If somebody is only a consumer, even the 99-year-old father is contributing, his presence, his prayers, even the wrinkles on his and I remember when my mother was very old, 91, so all full of wrinkles. My Joanna, my third daughter's son, will come very small. As soon as he comes, he go to the machi and he said, he'll say all these wrinkles and all that. He was so fascinated, and he looks at his hands, look at all this, his mother's face and all. And then one day he just walked in and he saw the dead body. He was shocked. Always Ammachi will lift a hand and say something, and he went and touched and she doesn't respond, and doesn't open the eyes and all that. And he said, Ammachi, Marichu boy, Marichu boy, yes. So what I said is, she was a blessing, even to the grandson, it was a blessing. Her presence was. The sadness there was. We should see our old age parents are a blessing. My wife and I had the privilege of taking care of both our parents in their old age. It's not easy, to be honest. It was easy for me because my wife did everything. I was not there. I will be going here and there teaching class, but my wife did everything excellently. Nobody even. My father used to say that. She has taken care of us like little children taken care by parents. That's joy. I don't think $1 million rupee will compensate that. No. That's, make their old age meaningful. My mother carried me for 3-4 years, washed me, cleaned me, fed me. Then the privilege God gave us to take care of my mother, wash her, bathe her, change her, feed her. That's what God does it, We are paying back. We are paying back. When we are little, they took care of us. When they are old, we are. So the family is a big thing, It's not just thinking that one man and woman just renting a house and or a flat and start working and making money, putting all the money in the Muthoot bank or this bank or Kodak bank or whatever bank you have here. That's not family life. Family is more than that. Family is people, family is involvement, family is a growing relationship, a productive relationship, it's a koinonia, it's a fellowship. It's a workshop where individuals are matured, where love is invested, character is harvested, respect is, drawn as the interest every day, every moment. And, it's a great business. So I will say, you are living the life of Christ and the church as a shadow. Man, aren't you excited about family life? If you are living properly, I tell you. A good Christian family is a miniature heaven on earth. Love is invested, and character is harvested, and respect is what you get as interest. Daily interest you draw respect. Yes. So it's great. It's great. Then I asked, what is husband? Husband is house band, the one who bind everybody together, everybody, the unity, the functional relationship, everything. That's a husband's duty. He's like a rubber band that keeps things together, The husband is a band that together, yes. And the wife is the weaver who, weaves the beautiful drapes and the bedspreads and the clothes and all. She only makes the family beautiful. Oh, yes, so beautiful, yes. So then we talked about what is a good man, what is a biblical man. So we said the biblical man is a mature man, an adult man, somebody who has a lot of maleness or manliness, not somebody who is handsome and tall and or maybe short, whatever is, big muscles, lot of money and lot of property, have a nice car, and no, they have nothing to do with. They have nothing to do with. You may have, you may not have it. You may be the poor of the poorest, but still you may be a man. You may be a man. The leadership ability, love, care, protection, labor, decisions making, honesty, integrity, meekness, sacrifice, loyalty, the ability to reason logically, correctly, that's what makes a good man. So sisters, look for a good man, not a handsome man, not a, some people make the mistake of saying that I will marry only somebody who has a BA degree. There are gentlemen, men with a BA degree, but there are a lot of BA degree and MA degree people without, or a doctorate, engineering, whatever is. In education is not the measure of manliness. No. Education is not the measure of manliness. Some of the great men of even our country, politically speaking, they were not necessarily educated people. No? Some of the great men of our nation making, they were all not educated people. They didn't have the privilege of getting an education. In the Lord's field also like that, But God cannot use somebody who is not a man. No. God has never used somebody who is not a man. He's looking for a man in the real sense. Okay, that much we have discussed this morning. Now we will move to what is a good woman, a biblical woman. And the femaleness of a woman, I will say that. The feminineness of a woman. What is it? Is that the beauty? How well she has her hair done, how often she visits the beauty parlor, is that what decides? Is it decided by the dowry her parents will, offer? Is it your education? No, nothing of that sort. Nothing of that sort. Then what it is? Just like in the case of man, the womanness is the total sum of certain virtues that is expected in the female gender. The one of them is affection. I said for man it is love. Love is sacrificial love, seeking the highest good. Affection is not that. Affection is responding responding to the love of man. That's what affection is. Affection is a response. Love is not a response. Love is sacrificial. Man starts it. It's affection is you smiling back when I smile at you. And love is when your face is all angry and all that, and you just come and say, smile, and you don't smile, and then you slowly have a smile. So you have affection. That's one. A woman knows how to respond to a man. That's what. How to respond to a man. Yes. And affection is very precious, that love doesn't have taste always. Because it's sacrificial love, You're hungry, I'm feeding you. You don't have clothes, I'm buying it. I don't have to always be smiling at you and all that, no. But affection always has taste, Affection it's always has masala in it, It has a little honey added to it. It's sweet, it's tasty, So the affection of a woman makes the atmosphere of a home, palatable. But the love of a man is what keeps it moving. It's moving. Because he does what is needed. The woman is not doing what is needed, but she is applying the masala, little honey into it. And so that makes it, man cooks his meat without any masala, but woman adds it with salt so that it's tasty, That's what is the role of the woman. And so if the woman does not know how to show affection, yes, most women know how to show affection. The problem is many of the women go beyond affection. Yes. Submission is another virtue, submission. Yes. So Paul and Peter all commands, wives, submit your husbands. Oh, that's a bad word these days, right? Submission. No, I'm not submitting to anybody. Well, if you are not submitting to somebody, you're definitely submitting to somebody, and that's the wrong people. Maybe some egalitarian viewpoint or feminist viewpoint or something. The virtue of a woman is her submission. That's the way even in the animal kingdom, in the biological kingdom, plant kingdom, everywhere. The female flower, you never see the female flower, what you call inside the female thing, it never goes chasing the male pollen. No, the male pollen comes and deposits there, right? That's the way always. The male sperm is going to chase the ovum and enter into relationship. That's the way God created. You cannot change it. You change it, you got a problem. You see a rooster coming, what does the hen do? What does the hen do? You never seen Bombay, you don't see that. In Bombay, you only see dressed up chicken. But if you have never seen one, the rooster comes chasing, the hen sit down, so that they can have, they have biological reproductive systems. It's everywhere there, everywhere. You try to change it. You make the man to deliver the baby. I bet. Challenge. You just cannot. These days people have unisex ideas and transverse surgeries and this, though. You're never going to have a man delivering a baby and a woman fathering a child. No. You can talk all that you want. So God has, the man is the leader, the woman is a submissive person. The more graciously you submit, I tell you, the more joyful the home should be. Man is not commanded, make your wife submitted. No. Nowhere in the Bible. God never commands men, you make sure your wife submits. No. The commandment is to the woman, you submit your husband. The problem comes when the woman is not submissive, but the man makes her to submit. Oh, problem comes. If things go naturally in the order, there is joy, there is no friction, no heat, nothing. So from childhood on, the girls must be taught to submit. So I told my son, you are the leader. I tell my sons when I go, my wife is there, I called them and said, when daddy is not here, you are the man, the leader. I want you to make sure that your sisters behave, your mother is cared for, there is everything in the family is in order, by whatever is needed. Yes. And girls are given the instruction. Make sure if he tells you anything, you obey. Unless, if it's unethical, no. Otherwise, obey it. So none of the girls ever had the opportunity of tasting the muscles of the man, because they were taught to submit. Family goes without friction. Yes. So I will say, sisters, practice. Submission is not an evil. Submission is a divine character, because the son submitted to the father and everything. Not my will, but your will. See that? Father and son are equal in deity, but the son graciously submits to the father. It's not a question of inferiority. No, there is no inferiority. It's a theological virtue. It's a Christian virtue. If the Son of God can submit to the Father of God, why can't the woman submit to the man? Father is perfect. You are imperfect, husband is also imperfect, so it's okay. If a perfect being submit to the perfect, the imperfect being submit to the imperfect. So what's your problem? You are waiting to see the perfect person to come so that you can submit. Well, by that time I don't know whether you will be perfect. No, that's not the problem. That's not the problem. Somebody told that it's an inferiority feeling there. No, it's not inferiority for me. No, if my wife is submitting to me, it's not an inferiority. It's a naturally, divinely ordered thing. So submission. Faithfulness. It's expected from you. Faithfulness in little things and big things. Faithfulness. If you are not able, you are watching the TV all day and forgotten the time the husband came and nothing is fixed and anything, don't say the child was sick all day and crying. I couldn't do anything. That's a lie. You must be faithful and say that I made a mistake. Somehow I was before the TV and it carried away me and I forgotten all about the time. So today I couldn't do a thing. Forgive me. No, the husband will appreciate that truthfulness. But if that's a truthfulness every day repeated, then it's not appreciation, some depreciation will start in the family. But if you admit the truth, I think that truth will make it, more. So people lie. I said men lie, women lie. There's excuse. They call it, excuses. This excuse. The word excuse means a bad thing. The word excuse is a bad word. Means that I made a mistake, excuse me. That's all what it means, So it's not. So faithfulness is very, very important in little things and big things. Everything. Even when you are sweeping or cleaning, don't put everything under the carpet, no. That's not faithful, because you are giving the appearance, I have done my job, while you are hiding your sin underneath. The faithfulness, even if little, say that, okay. In anything you do, be honest. Compassion, it's a feminine character. Our God has that compassion, the character, it's compassion. Compassion is feeling, kind of a very sensitive feelings towards the unfortunate people, compassion. Somebody comes to your place hungry, have compassion. And your husband comes home late, tired, maybe battered by his boss, maybe called to the office and gave the peanuts and said the golden shake hand. You come home, but show compassion. Yes. Oh, compassion is such a precious feminine virtue. These days you don't see a lot of compassion. Hard-hearted women are there, a whole lot. But in between you can see, it's kind of the Mother Teresa virtue, going through the streets of Calcutta and see a poor leper, covered with flies and wounds, go stoop down there, take him in the hand and clean him and take care of them, the compassionate. Compassion is a Christian virtue. It's a Christian virtue. Women should practice that. Long suffering, they have to have it. But if meekness is the other counterpart for man, long suffering. Oh, women have it, long suffering. The child start crying, middle of the night. Oh, the father is getting angry. Don't you keep the child? I can't sleep. That's the selfish man. But she takes care of the baby, try to put the baby crying and carrying the baby all night and maybe all day. That's what long suffering. And sometimes a drunken husband, but she's so long suffering, he comes home unreasonably mad and demands things that, he should not be, but she is available and she nurses to his wounds and all that, that's a great virtue. I'm not saying that man is not good because he is causing problem, but she is great. But some women will walk away, forget about it. So that's compassion is, long suffering is such a virtue, Some husbands are only to create problems sometimes, I think. Criticism on everything. Criticism on this, criticism on that. The wife, if she is long suffering, she hears them, not respond anything. In her heart she is crying and sobbing and praying, but towards her husband she still has a smile, That sort of good works. Bible says women ought to adorn themselves not with gold and silver and all, but with good works. Good works. If you don't do a good works in 24 hours, don't go to sleep. Helping somebody, doing some good, feeding the hungry or clothing the naked, visiting some orphans, maybe old people home, destitute people, whatever you could do in your situations, some good works you should do. Every good woman will always cook food for an additional person. If somebody hungry come, you can give it to them. If they don't come, you can take it and eat it for the supper, But always ready. Yes, you get a new dress from somebody, you give one of the old dress to poor people. After all, you are living with whatever clothes you are having, and somebody gave you. Yes, that's a good formula, I tell my wife, my children, all I said that. You get the new one, you give an old one, some poor people come and ask sometimes, give them. It's good for them. It's not damaged, but you got new one, you give one. Interestingly, you give one, Lord will give 2 or 3. Then you have plenty to give also. Good works is necessary. Yes. I was blessed by a mother who was dedicated her life to good works. Yes. Honestly speaking, I myself have not seen too many other women sold out for good works like my mother. My father sometimes get angry at my mother, yes, very angry, I have seen. Because she will sometimes take children's bread and give to the poor. That's that sort of a woman she was. But we are fortunate that, it brought so much blessings for us. So, good works, hospitality. A woman's virtue, hospitality. Of course, in the Bible it's shown as a man's virtue because the classic example of hospitality is Abraham entertaining the elders. But we see how Sarah cooperated. In second, she made the bread and cooked the beef with the calf. Of course, the servant may have done it, but no complaints, nothing. She stood behind Abraham as they were entertaining the guests. So she was there wholeheartedly. Yes, hospitality is a great. Read through the New Testament. You can come across so many wives and so many families that were given to hospitality. You know what that word means, hospitality, in Greek? It means love for strangers. It's a philoxenos or xenophilia. These words, xenos means stranger, phileo means love, love for strangers. That's when your closest friends come, you entertain them. It's a part of hospitality, but not the classic hospitality. Somebody that you have never seen, somebody dropped at your door, how you will treat them. Just like Abraham, he didn't know who those people were. Only later he knew one of them was Jehovah and all. He had 3 people passing through, because Hebrew says not knowing, unknowingly he entertained. So that's what it is. So always show hospitality. If Jesus Christ would come to your home, how you will treat, the same way you need to treat others. Sometimes it may be a beggar. Don't give beggars spoiled food. Give to beggars good food. They're human beings. Sometimes, somebody come hungry, we give him a tract. That part is good, but don't send him away with the tract. He's not going to eat the tract. Give him food to eat and then a tract also. Yes. Story is told of Abraham. How a beggar came to Abraham and asked Abraham, I'm hungry. So Abraham is a very hospitable man, so he gave him good food. But then this man lifted the food and shown to the sun god, and then Abraham chased him. You idol worshipper, in my home, So the man left the food and ran away for life, So after half an hour, sometime, God appeared. This is one of those apocryphal stories, God appeared to Abraham and said, Abraham, yes, Lord, I sent you a person, poor and needy and hungry. Where is he? Lord, I gave him food, but he's an idol worshipper. He worshipped the sun and he chased him out. Abraham, how many years I suffered you when you were an idol worshipper? You were making idols and selling. That's what Joshua said. How many years I suffered you? You couldn't bear that man for half an hour until he eats that food for his hunger? So the apocryphal stories say Abraham ran after that man, found him and brought him back to home, treated him well and gave him food, asked forgiveness to him. Yes. Love for strangers. These days I know that you cannot get anybody at home because, people are much different. You don't know why he came. He may have come to take your head off. But that does not exempt us from hospitality. That doesn't exempt us from hospitality. You be safe, true, but you be hospitable. So these days it is safe hospitality. Those days you could do more free hospitality because people won't do that one, But these days people will do, but still hospitality. So sisters, practice hospitality. Even if you don't eat, feed a hungry person. Kindness is a very feminine virtue, kindness. Kindness could be shown in many ways. Sometimes it's a word, a kind word. A kind word. Just whisper a kind word in their ears. Sometimes say, all right, we are all human beings. God will forgive you. God will strengthen you. I love you. I'll pray for you. Sometimes maybe Your kindness may be sitting with them for an hour, weeping with them in their sorrow, maybe providing them something. But kindness is a heart attitude, you know, where your heart is weeping for the other person's, you know, sadness or circumstances. A romance. It's a romance. I made a statement earlier that men are not interested in romance. They are interested only in sex. That's it. But women needs romance. They are not interested in sex, women. You know that? Romance. Sex is the climax of the romance. Sex without romance is women not interested. But only the prostitutes are interested for money. No. So man, you know, but then some women have no romance, you know. No, they don't know romantic, you know. At least in Hinduism, Radhi is a name, you know. A lot of people are called Radhi. You know what Radhi means? Radhi means romance. Yes, Radhi Vigaram, you know, the sexual feelings. You know. So, you know, they're not ashamed to call somebody Radhi. Yes. But romance is a very Christian virtue. You know, you read through the book of Song of Solomon, you can see that how she was excellent in romance and all that, you know. Yes. So that's a good virtue. A woman ought to have these virtues, you know. It's a total of these things. Total of these things. By the way, romance is something that limited to the bedroom, not outside the bedroom of your married life. Yes, outside romance is ugly. No. No romance outside. It's between the husband and wife. Yes. So affection plus submission plus faithfulness plus compassion plus long suffering plus good works, hospitality, kindness, romance, etc. I could add many more, you know. All these things. This is what we have to cultivate in our girls, and this is what you have to now work hard to cultivate in you. Yes. If you are successful in cultivating, then you become that, you know, perfect woman in the Bible. You look at Proverbs chapter 31, there is the perfect woman. She has all these things. She has all these things. Every one of them. It's there. Yes. So we need to. The book of Proverbs talks a lot about romance, and it talks about evil romance of prostitutes and evil women and all that, you know, men going after them. But then says, young man, enjoy in your wife of the youth, and all these things, you know. It's there. It's there. Yes. Well, you may have something to ask, I'm sure.
The same many men may say romance is a feminine virtue.
Yeah, romance is a feminine virtue, yes. You know, nobody will say, he is a romantic person. No, she is a romantic woman, you know. See, man practices romance by force, means romance is natural for woman. That's the difference. So when that which is natural for a woman, when she doesn't have, there's something. Men cultivate it. They cultivate it for their wives. Yes. For their wives. Men are so busy, you know, they are so busy. They will say that I got only 2 minutes. You know, just like the people go with 10 rupees to the 50 rupees to the prostitute, says that, you know, my train is in 5 minutes. Take it. That's possible only for men. That's not possible for women. No, no, they want to sit down and talk and look and smile and touch and feel and all those things. The climax of that one is what they will say, the sexual relationship, the consummation. Man is not like that. So this is something you don't need to teach your children, okay, boys. So nobody should go and start, I'm teaching my son to be romantic, you know. No, you don't need to. They will learn. But there come a time when you have to teach them, you know, when they are preparing for marriage. then you have to teach these virtues. You don't need to teach them how to practice all these things. There are books available. So husbands provide maleness to the wife, while wife provides femaleness to the man. In every man there is a place God has created where this femaleness only can fill there. And in every woman there is a cavity where the maleness could come. And if a woman doesn't get that maleness from the man, then it's a rough marriage. That's where it's a rough marriage. They complain that, you know what, he doesn't love me, he is selfish, and he is so cruel, and he is so unkind, and he is so this, and irresponsible, doesn't provide, and you know, this and this complaint goes. But when the man provides the maleness, woman is blessed because she feels satisfied. The same, when the woman gives this femaleness to the man, all blessed family life. So, women, you create femaleness. Yes. You may go to some older women, you know, married and living happy family life, and they tell them, teach me these things. They will. There's a lot to do that, you know. Hospitality assumes that you are a good cook. So you have to cook food. Now that's how to eat it, right? Yes. So make sure that. Yes. So God created man in such a way that he could have purpose and meaning in life only when a wife gives him the female virtues. And God created the woman in such a way that she could have purpose and meaning in life only when a husband gives her this maleness. Every woman, most every woman is expecting for a man after marriage to be a leader. When she doesn't see him a leader, you know, he's depending on her, you know, and well, then the marriage is a failure even right there. The man has to be the leader. Leader doesn't mean showing head weight. No, that's not. Leader means what? Taking the initiative to start the family, to start the fire going, you know, to start the conversation going. You are giving love out, you are living your care out, you are protecting your wife, and all those things. Yes. Some women, as I said, that they have a lot of animus. The masculine characters in a woman is called animus. And some men have a lot of anima, the feminine characters in a woman. Well, you have to watch. Some amount everybody will have. Some amount everybody will have. But if the man is having too much, you know, anima, well, that marriage will be very difficult to be a success. Sometimes, you know, you get married and all that, and then the man approaches the woman like another woman would approach the man. You know, well, so she said, what is this? He's not a man. I don't expect that. You know, the same with the woman also. You know, if she approaches him like a man would approach him. Why you say there's something wrong? I thought I married a woman. She deals with me like a man, you know. She talks like a man, so authoritative. And she wants to decide everything. And it's very strange, isn't it? It's very strange. Well, if you are a strong you know, woman in the wrong way, the right way and wrong way. The wrong way strongness is when the masculine characters you display. You know, she's very able, very decision making, she's a leader, you know, she's a ruler, you know, that sort of a thing. And he is very weak, you know, he's so feminine, so affectionate, so submissive, and so all these things. Boy, that's terrible. It's very difficult to deal with animus woman sometimes. Yes. I can never forget. I don't know whether I told the story here. I said many stories. One time I had to deal with an animus woman. She is full masculine. But she was very able. She is one of those women who, encroached upon government land and 15-acre land and fought with elephants and wild animals and all that sort of thing, That's the only way she could. Her husband died and then she had 5-6 children and, in these forest areas and all. Well, she was a woman who once went into a police station and slapped the circle inspector right on the cheek. And, that sort of woman. And I have baptized this woman's son. And she was looking for me. Literally, I was told that, Charity is looking for you. And I prayed, God, I am not afraid to have an encounter with her, but it has to be at a place where, I could handle her, in the right way. Not in the bus, because in the bus she will caught hold of me and slap me and something, and she speaks so loud, you can hear very easily, you can hear half a kilometer away her, that sort of. So she was going around and I want to see that pastor who baptized my son, that son. So one day I was, in the neighborhood where she is living, visiting with one of her brothers there. We have a church there. And then I heard this noise. So I was in a home of a man called Jos. I said, Jos, what is that sound? I said, Charity varunundu. She is coming. And he said that, why don't you get inside the house? And hide. I said, no, I'm not a man who will hide like that. No, I'll stand here. So, as the road comes and she has to walk through the what do you call, the ground of the house, the muttam, they say that. So there are 4 steps on the muttam, only this wide. I stood my feet apart on the last step like this, because she cannot go. She can come up to the 3rd one, but the 4th one she has to pull me, then only, So I stood there. So she came and looked up and said, Joseph, when are you? Chedathikku kaanonu paranju party thaneyanu paranju. I said that, this is the party you wanted to see. Are you the one who baptized my son? Nee aannoda ente mone snanapeduthi. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു, ചന്തപ്പെണ്ണുങ്ങൾ സംസാരിക്കുന്നത് ശബ്ദം താക്കാൻ പറഞ്ഞു. നിങ്ങളാണോ എൻ്റെ മകനെ സ്നാനപ്പെടുത്തിയെന്ന് ചോദിക്കാൻ പറഞ്ഞു. എനിക്കങ്ങനെ ചോദിക്കാൻ അറിയില്ലെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ഞാൻ പഠിപ്പിക്കുകയാണ് എൻ്റെ ജോലി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ദാറ്റ്സ് മൈ ജോബ്. സോ ഐ ആം ഗോയിങ് ടു ടീച്ച് യു ദാറ്റ്. നീ എന്നെ പഠിപ്പിക്കുക, ഞാൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ചേ പോകുന്നു പറഞ്ഞു. So we heard this. She came down. She's, lowered her voice and then she said, ഞാൻ പോവാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. She said, first time or last year, she yielded to, before me like that. So they were all surprised that this never happened. For her character, she should have slapped me. So in 5 minutes, I wanted to go to her son's house, So I have to go through her house. Yeah, because her son's house is next. So they all said, Joe said, don't go. She's very angry. I could see that in the face. She may do something there. I said, nothing will happen, Jose. I will go. As I went there, she was standing in the front of she saw me, she got inside the home. I went. Over. That's all. Everybody in the community was afraid of that woman. Everybody. I mean, she is a person who slapped the circle inspector. Such a person. But what is meant is, if you are a man, you should know how to handle a woman. Yeah. You haven't read Shakespeare's Taming the Shrew? Yeah, well, that's sort of the story, If you haven't read it, you have to go and read it, Taming the Shrew. You read it? Yeah, it's good, nice. Yes. So what I meant is, that's not the way a woman should be If she had problem, she could ask, are you the person who baptized my son? Well, I have objection to it. We were traditionally belong to this denomination. I didn't like it. Or something she can express, and I will talk to her nicely. But shouting at and all these things, no. So develop feminine characters. Develop feminine characters. It's good. A woman with feminine characters is beautiful. A beautiful woman with masculine characters is ugly. Honestly. I believe every woman is beautiful. Don't you think? I think so. But what destroys their beauty is their character. Yes. So develop this, I will say. For good marriages, you need to develop this. Yes. So any man could be won by giving him womanliness. Any woman could be won by giving her manliness. Not all men have manliness, not all women have feminineness. And many a women are simply grown-up girls, and many a men are simply grown-up boys. Our Indian system of marriage making does not take into consideration the joining of a male man with a female woman. They consider beauty, money, education, and not these feminine characters and these masculine characters. I think we need to correct that. We need to correct that. What happens often in making is maleness plus maleness is equal to fight. The man's maleness and the woman's maleness, there is constant fight, because who could have the upper hand? Or womanliness with womanliness is again fight. Right formula is M plus W is equal to good family. That's masculine virtues joined with feminine virtues make a good family. In some marriages, the man may be male, but the woman is not female. Such situations are terrible. Through continuous counseling, sometimes the problem could be a little bit improved. Some men are brought up in such a way that they are not trained to give the manliness to women, and vice versa. First 3 sons, they wanted a daughter, then fourth also a daughter. They have 3 boys, and they wanted a girl, and the fourth one is also a boy. So what the parents do? They have a hair parted and ribbon put on and a chain put on and all these things. It gives him the impression that you are a girl. Even they will call also something podikalippenne, and all that thing. So he is growing up thinking that he is a girl. So naturally when he grows up, he wants a partner that has to be a boy. So it's an homosexuality, enter into a boy going to a boy. Or some parents wanted a boy so much, 3 girls, 2 girls, and the next one also a girl. So what they will do? They will put on boys' dress and everything, and they will call Kalakutta, this, that, and all that. And then she thinks that she is a boy. So she will go and marry a girl. So there is the problem. So parents also are responsible for all these things. Haven't you seen boys dressed up like girls? And girls dressed up like boys? Never do that. Never. A boy has to be treated right from the moment of birth. The boy has to be brought up like a boy. Whether dressing, haircutting, anything. And the girl has to be brought up like a girl. The image of the masculine image must be given to the boy, and the feminine image must be given to the girl. So parents do these mistakes, a lot of mistakes. And that then later in life, what happened? Somebody is harvesting the ill results of this. Somebody is sighing and say that, oh God, what did happen? Yes, so this should not be. Should not be. So such things will lead the men to anger and physical abuse, depression, suspicion. In a good biblical marriage, the man and his wife will be sharing everything they have, will be encouraging each other, will be sharpening each other, will be appreciating each other, will be correcting each other, will be, fellowshipping together. And, that's a wonderful life. When such sharing does not happen, the family and marriage is failed. Now we come and ask the question, why God established marriage? You have any questions in what I said, You definitely have, why God established marriage. At least I wanted to talk about why God established marriage, and then come to the practical thing, how could you find your partner, what's God's will for you, and all that sort of thing, But why God established marriage? Anyway, any questions on what I said? Anything?
Some of these qualities can be permanent, like for example, compassion.
Yeah.
Need not be a permanent.
Yeah, man could also be very compassionate, but a woman has to have compassion. That's my point. It's not that only a woman can have compassion. That's not the point. Some of these characters man also, but man must have the male characters mainly. Yes, and then these additional characters. All good leaders are followers, because you learn the principles of leading only by following first. Like the British Army, they say that they will want to have any commissioned officer directly. Everybody will start, even if it's a Prince Philip, he has to start at the lowest. So they say that you are not qualified to give orders until you have proven you can take orders. That's what the Bible also, nobody is just appointed an elder just like that. No, they all have to start from here, A man is not ready to give orders. The same way, a husband is not ready to, lead a family unless he has learned to follow his father at home. That's where the starting point is. When the father gives the orders, yes, the man knows that, the son knows that, okay. It's not the mother who gives the orders, it's the father who gives the orders, okay? Yeah, that makes a difference. If the father is not here, the mother can say many things. That's a different. I'm not looking down all that. But it's for the father to do it. You ever heard the story of a man who went to one of these big tarwats, Nair tarwats, where they have thousands of not acres, para they call, paddy field and all. This man went to ask whether there is any rice, paddy he could buy. So this Nair was not there. Only his wife was there. So he went and asked, the wife said, no, rice is all sold this year. We don't have any. So the man was coming, and as the owner was walking in, he said, where do you go? To your home. Why? To ask whether any rice. So what did you found out? Your wife said that no rice for sale, everything is sold out. He said, you come with me. So, he brought with me and got inside the house and sat on the chair and then said, there are no rice to sell. And I am the husband, head of this home, and I only have the right to say it. You can go. Well, no, it's it may sound very funny, because why he didn't say that there? But there is a lesson, that this is the prerogative portfolio of the man, not for the woman. That was an encroachment by the woman. He doesn't accept it. So sometimes the wives can, communicate, but she should have said that, എന്താണ് ഭർത്താവിനെ വിളിക്കുന്നത്, അദ്ദേഹം വരുമ്പോൾ വന്ന് ചോദിച്ചാട്ട്. Yes. So any question? So let's come to this. Why God established marriage? What do you think? Why God established marriage? There are married people here, they must know because they are married, you know.
Who is better than one?
Two is better than one. Then why not Adam and Steve? That won't be marriage. Yeah. So two is better than one. That's true. But is that the only reason?
They can be better than two. That is our
Three can be better than two. Yeah. That's why they have a child also. Then you know. So if somebody says 4 is better than 3, then they have the second child. So it's keep on going. But why marriage? Why God actually was interested in this marriage?
To understand how difficult the bride is.
Well, you don't have to. That logic doesn't. You know, he wanted to teach how difficult it is the bride will be, so he created a bride. Then he could have created an elephant and say, marry this. He would have learned how difficult it is to marry an elephant or something. No. God said it is not good for man to be. Why not good? Marriage was established so that whatever was lacking in the single state must be removed. But what was lacking in the single state? Adam had God as companion. Every day God came down in the cool of the day, you know. He had all the animals, plenty of animals, all the trees. You know, every created thing was at his disposal. But God said it's not good for man to be alone. Yes. God designed man in such a way that unless a woman comes into his life, he is lonely. Lonely. He said it's not good for man to be alone. Only a woman can remove that loneliness. An animal cannot, God cannot. No. Can have wonderful fellowship with God and Bible classes, God himself teaching and all that, but only in the life of a man when a woman comes, you know, that loneliness. So
that was in the context of where it was only Adam and nobody else. Today men have a lot of friends, so man is not lonely then.
yeah, but that's why I said that God has created in man a loneliness that can be filled only by a woman. No male friends can remove it. No. The fact that you don't feel that loneliness simply means that you are not ready for marriage. No, you are not. One should marry only when he feels that loneliness. Even if God has created a woman first, the same statement would have been said. It is not good for a woman to be alone. I will make her a suitable companion. So nobody should marry unless there is such a very strong feeling of loneliness. I am so lonely. Oh, I need to marry. I have to have a woman in my life. I have to have a man in my life. One of the reasons why many marriages fail is because, the young man never felt the need for a woman. He has so many friends and this and parties and going and activities, and this is an unnecessary thing. Something that he really didn't need. So what do you do with it? Yeah, that's what happened. So no time, he never talks with her, never spend time with her, never take her anywhere, nothing, he's gone in the morning till midnight, then he comes and, hit the sack, that's it. No one says, I'm here lonely, you are lonely, so what should I do? You married me? No, everybody forced you upon me. You go your home, that sort of thing. But a man who felt that loneliness, boy, he will not leave her, He will be calling casual leave, and leave, sick leave and all these leaves. Doctor certificate and all these things. Yeah, fall down and break so that he could be at home.
Back pain.
Back pain, all sorts of things. Well, that's good, I'm happy, That's the way a man should behave. Others go on a pilgrimage. A man should feel, a woman should feel the need for a man. And interestingly, Adam did not feel the need for a woman when God said it. Only God said it. God said it is not good for a man to be alone. That's not the ground on which Adam should marry. If God knows, because He is all-knowing, He knows that it is not good, and Adam said that, so, I don't need a wife. I have no need. So God then arranged something. Immediately after He saying that it is not good for man to be alone, what did He do? He brought all the animals. That's what He did. He brought all the animals. At the end of this, naming all the animals, the statement, but for man, no suitable companion. But for man. What does that mean? The animals went in pair. Mr. Bull and Mrs. Bull, Mr. Horse and Mrs. Horse, Mr. Elephant and Mrs. Elephant. They were all going, showing some affection and love and all that. And Adam said, hey? It's very interesting. Very interesting. And since he was expecting that then there should be somebody for me God is going to bring, so he was, so the monkey, and all this, he said, no, it's not for me. Because Mr. Monkey had the Mrs. Monkey, So then after the last one, then there was that loneliness in him. But for me, there is almost saying, God, it's not fair. What you did is not fair. For every creature you have a partner, companion. But for me, God said, get on this bed. Put him to sleep. Took out something from his side. Our versions also rib, but the Hebrew word doesn't have rib. Nobody knows. That's the only place in the whole Hebrew language that word is used. So nobody knows exactly what he took out. I have a feeling that he took out maybe a little tissue or something, maybe, or maybe to find out maybe, whatever was. Anyway, because of the side, everybody say rib. Rib. But we know there is no rib lacking on Adam's side and all that. We know that the same amount of rib on both sides, and women also that one. So if one has taken and then filled it with the flesh, so definitely not with rib, So all these things, anyway, he operated upon him and made the woman and brought her to him. See, God created a feeling of loneliness in Adam before marriage. That's the key. Create the sense of loneliness where you say that, oh, where is my partner? I can move like this. It's too much, I need a partner, companion. That's when you actually start searching for it. Nowadays that's not the one. 18, 20, 22-year girl is 22 years, so, we need to give her marriage. Why? She's 22. It says magic with 22 or something. No, the society expects at 22 she must be given away. Well, don't force anybody. Don't marry because you are 22 or 23. Do you feel loneliness? Marry even at 18. That's the government law says. At 18 you feel lonely. You have to go and tell your parents that, what are you doing? Don't you see me? Look at my face, how lonely I am. I need a man. I need a man. You should do the same thing. Go and tell your parents and others or elders that what you people are doing. I am trying to say this in many, many ways, but it doesn't seem like you are understanding. I am very lonely these days. Or maybe you should miss a Sunday and they ask you why. Don't you know why? I was so lonely. I need a companion, That's what you start looking for. So God created marriage for companionship. Companion comes from the word company, say that. He is in company with, friendship, that's what. So if your marriage is a meaningful marriage, then you will have friendship with your wife. Friendship with your husband. Marriage is not for washing clothes or dishes, taking care of appacha, ammachi. That's all the result of marriage, not the purpose of marriage, you know. The result of marriage has many things, you know. You will wash clothes, you will cook, you will do this. On the woman, the man will buy grocery and vegetables and, you know, he will this and that and all these things. The purpose is not that. If that's the purpose, it's better to get a servant, honestly. Because she will wash clothes much better, you know. Because if she is sick, you can say that, I'll get another one, don't come from tomorrow. But you cannot do this here. So the purpose of marriage is friendship. This you have to underline in your mind. You are marrying for friendship. Marrying for friendship. And what does it friendship means? Walking together, talking together, sleeping together, eating together, praying together, going places together, you know, everything, you know, the togetherness that is in everything. Maximum time. 8 hours you go to work with great difficulty because, you know, but yes, but as soon as the work is over, you run back. You run back because your friendship is here. That's a sort of. You do your duties because you have to do it, but the friendship, you know, then that's where how much you sit down, look each other, smile each other, talk each other, eat together, you know, play together, talk together, and do everything together. That's what friendship is. But many people marry and they go. Today marriage, tomorrow fly back to Dubai. Occasionally a phone call. So what? Internet marriage? Post office marriage? So sometimes, you know, the old days they didn't have enough telephone, only a card will come once a week, I am okay. She will also write, I am also okay. So it's called the Okay Kalyanam. So the postman was delivering every week, okay, he reads, okay. So one day he said, who is not okay? I am okay, you are okay, I am okay, you are okay. I have to walk 5 kilometers to deliver this card saying I am okay. So forget about it. Because you know, when the card didn't come 2 weeks, then she is all worried about, you know, what I'm, you know. And then it seems like he is not okay. So ask the postman. Postman said, what is this? Everything you okay, 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 okay. So I throw these letters. I'm sick and tired of. Now that's not marriage. Marriage is honestly for friendship. Something marriage is for children. No, marriage is not for children. If marriage is for children, somebody cannot have marriage, what they will do? Divorce them? If marriage is for children, that after having 2 children, what will you do? Children are the result of marriage. It's a result of marriage. The purpose of marriage is friendship, companionship. So get it. You are not marrying so that you can have some child. No. That's the purpose, you can go and adopt some. That's a result. It's a reward, you know. God blesses you because you love your wife, you submit your husband, you are, you know, loving, you are honoring God. God said, I wanted to bless this couple with some children. Now don't feel if somebody doesn't have a child, don't feel that you don't have a blessing of God. That's not what I meant. But, you know, some people think that if marriage is not fruitful, it's not purposeful, it's not God blessing because they don't have children. No, you're not marrying for children. You are marrying for companionship. Your marriage is a failure if you don't have companionship. You are not a friend with your husband, a friend with your wife. Then it's a failure. Children are the product, children are the result, not the purpose. There's a difference between the purpose and the result. So, if you don't have children, that's okay. I mean, it's sad. Everybody wants children and all. I understand that. But your marriage is not a failure. No, your marriage is a failure if this friendship is not established. You know, you cannot have friendship with everybody. You know, even in schools or colleges and places, you get very easily friendship with somebody, but not with everybody. So the success of the marriage is also that you want to make sure that you get somebody with whom you could make friendship. Yes. Naturally, a man can establish friendship with a woman very easily, but not with all women, because some women have masculinity more. So this man finds it's very difficult, you know, it's like two porcupines coming close in love, you know. they are all, you know, they are all very loud, all they are these porcupines have these, what you call spikes. So all the spikes are there, so they say, let us make love, come together. But say, it hurts, your spikes. That's what happens when a masculine man and a masculine woman comes together. The spikes, say, it hurts, your statement hurts me, your authority hurts me, you know, and all that. But when the masculine man and the feminine woman comes together, man, there is joy. There is just that friendship, you know, holding your hands and walking and sitting together, praying together, talking together, you know, and you know, that is much joy and comfort and all that. So don't marry unless you have loneliness, the feeling of loneliness. If you never feel loneliness, don't marry. You know, that's when a man doesn't have it to marry, or a woman doesn't have it to be given in marriage, the loneliness. Now, the good thing is, in good families where children are growing up, they will feel loneliness at a very early age. Honestly. So the children will marry much faster. Because the husband and wife, there will be always together. We sit there, hold their hands, and they talk always and all that. I said, that sort of, you know. There comes a time when the children then cannot be so attached to the parents. You know, girls cannot come and be very close to the father because they have grown, and the boys cannot be, you know, that. And so then eventually there is a stage then they are looking for a partner. And they know how intimate the family life is, how blessed the family life, how joyful the family life is, how happy the daddy and mummy are. But if the daddy and mummy are always fighting, anytime they are home, they are fighting and throwing and abusing, and children say, I never want to get married. Oh, it is marriage. Then I don't want to get married. So that's why I said in good homes, children marry early. They don't have to wait for 30 and 40 years old. They will marry early because they want this wonderful experience. See how blessed the marriage is. Father and mummy are so happy. Mummy won't even eat anything until father comes, and father won't eat anything from outside. He will come, and you know, even if he buy 10 paise worth, you know, 1 rupee worth of peanuts, he will come here and divide it, and they both will be, you know, sharing together, and that's happiness of it. It's not money, it's friendship, you know. Money doesn't play that big part. The only thing is maybe you will buy, you know, if money is there, you will buy a 10,000, 50,000 rupees worth saree. They don't have money, they will go and buy a 200 rupees worth saree, that's all. But after all, when you put it together, you don't wearing the label always. Look, this is 50,000 rupees, you know. Nobody knows. So this is very important, you know. So why marry, or why God established marriage? For companionship. Companionship. There is another, you know, some will say companionship, suitable helper, which means that there is something deficiency in the man. Only a woman can supply that deficiency. There is something. Yes, a man is not very emotional being. Man is not, you know, in the olden days men used to weep some on occasions, but nowadays even if wife died, they don't. You know, mother died, they don't. You know, that's gone, that emotional aspect, no. But women always have that emotion. So the emotional need of the man is supplied by a woman. So, you know, that which is suitable helper is that. There are times when only a wife can make you an adequate person. Some men are bad in maths, some women are very good. If you are too bad in maths, you cannot count 1 rupee, you know, 100 rupees, the change. You definitely marry a woman who is good in doing that. Otherwise, everybody will cheat you. You know, suitable helper. In bringing up children, only a man alone cannot do it, you know. The woman has to supply some. The man supplies, the woman supplies. And so there's a suitable helper means that the great responsibility is given after creating that. Subdue everything and have Dominion. In subduing and having dominion, the man alone cannot do it. He needs the feminine aspect also to subdue and govern it. Only a man cannot do it. You think of, the wife passed away or something, and then the couple of children, very young children, only brought up by the man. You just can, even you can walk into a home like that, you can feel there is something lacking. Those children also something lacking. Because what the woman has to provide, the man cannot provide. So God wants this whole earth, including all the planets, the moon and Venus and everything, all these, man has to conquer it. God gave the commandment, conquer them. He put everything under him. Because of sin, we have been very late in conquering it, that's the reason. But in this aspect of conquering and ruling, whether it's in the church, whether it's in the family, whether it's in the society, anywhere, he needs a woman. She supplies the motivation. The refinement is there, there is a refinement, Everybody respect a man with a good family. Everybody. Everybody. You know why the policemen are very rough? You never enjoy staying in a police station. And even getting a mic permission or something, you go to police station. I don't like to stay there. One place is if anybody see them there, what did he do? That sort of a question is there. But otherwise also, you don't expect anything nice from a police station. Rough talk and all that. The reason they say that very seldom policemen have good family life. Because their employment is like that. Continuously they are always on duty. Once a month they come to the home and all that one. There is, but somebody who always, the night spent with the wife, the children, that family, he's a man who is polished, he is compassionate, he has more tranquility, more well-balanced, he doesn't get angry very soon. He comes to the office, doesn't with an angry face, and he doesn't throw the file, but he will say, hello, good morning everybody, how are you doing? How are you doing? How's your wife? Your child was sick. Is he doing better? He always inquire. The policeman doesn't come and inquire all those things. So God wants the man to be a man, there should be a woman in his life. And the woman to be a woman, she needs a man. So you show me a happily married couple, I can show you a very, very polished, character-wise, ability-wise couple. The manners is different. You walk into a family where husband and wife relationship, everything is very good, you will feel comfortable there. You will feel comfortable. Where the housewife may come and say that, uncle, or, you like a cup of coffee or tea, there is you want sugar, uncle, or you don't want sugar, there is the way they ask, there is a politeness. The other place you go there and, it's not that. There is a roughness, So God wants man to be able to rule and subdue all things, bring everything under his dominion. He needs a companion. So no man is successful, in a whole way. In some areas, maybe a good administrator, maybe a good financier, that way some area. But all-round success is only for a person with a good husband or wife. Mrs. Thatcher, the Iron Lady, but you know something? Said that her family life was excellent. At home she is Mrs. Thatcher. Wife of that man Thatcher. They had wonderful family life. Yes, and that's good. I don't know about Indira Gandhi, that was true. I know Feroz Gandhi, and they were divorced and lost their family life and all that, So she was also an Iron Lady. But yes, the only man in India say that. Otherwise, why should make a lady Prime Minister? you know. I'm not against women becoming prime minister, that's not my point, but you know, there are a lot of men, they should be doing a better job, you know. Yes, I believe, I'm not against women, you know, so don't think. My mother is a woman, my wife is a woman, 3 daughters are women, and 2 daughter-in-laws are women. My grandmother happened to be a woman. How can I be against women? I love women. I love my wife, you know, love my wife, yes. So why God established marriage? Then my saying is this one: you should marry for the same purpose. The results are many, you know, take care of your parents, home, this, that, so many things, but that's not the purpose. The purpose is this: companionship, and then completion of the personality, you know. The personality, the temperament and all that, your ability and all, whether man's ability or woman's ability, that complementing by the opposite sex, gender, is necessary, then only a completion comes. So marry for good reasons, good purposes. Yes, marry for good purpose. Well, there is a third reason for marriage that is stated in 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 2 and 3. There says, every man ought to have his own wife, and every woman ought to have her own husband, because of immorality. Because of immorality. God, when created man, created certain needs, basic needs. Yes. Hunger, thirst, sleep. One such need is sex. This is a very legitimate need. That can be met only inside marriage, nowhere else. Anywhere else you meet it by any means, it's immorality. It's immorality. So God established marriage. It's not good for Adam with a lot of sexual needs to be alone. He needs to have a wife with whom he can fulfill his sexual needs. That's why marriage has to be consummated, you know. Yes. So that's why so many instructions are there in the book of Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, in all through the prophets in the New Testament. Let the husband render unto his wife due benevolence. That due benevolence is sexual benevolence. The same way, let the wife render unto her husband due benevolence. That's a sexual. God has made such arrangement in marriage that the sex can never be used as a bargaining tool. No wife can say no to her husband. No husband can say no to his wife. Never, as far as sexual relationship is concerned. So God has exchanged authority in the bedroom. And the man does not have authority over his own body, but the wife has. Same way, the wife does not have authority over her body, but the husband has. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, what was the reference of that one? Yes. Verse 4. The wife hath not power on her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband hath no power over his body, but the wife. Why? Because the power is exchanged, so that in the bedroom, when the husband can never say, don't touch me, I don't feel like, no. Or the wife cannot say, don't touch me, I don't feel like, no. The exchange of the authority is not to use the authority over the woman, no, to prepare the woman by using this authority so that she will respond to his need. Same way, if a wife feels like, you can use your authority to prepare him so that he will respond to your need. The authority is never to be used to take. The authority is to be used to give. Marriage is not a taking proposition. Marriage is a giving proposition. The phrase on the table of marriage is, may I help you? what can I do for you today? That's one, That's it. It's a helping proposition. It's a giving proposition. So God has exchanged the authority. When you get into your bedroom, close the doors. The wife is not under the husband is not under the wife. Both are equal. He has full authority over her body, she has full authority over his body. In the bedroom relationship, the husband doesn't have to take the initiative. He can if he wants. She can if she wants. Why? Because authority is exchanged. Equal authority. On other areas, it's a man who leads, but in the bedroom, it's not a man who leads. Oh, of course, the Indian women are more shy, therefore, more often it is the man who takes the initiative. That's because our cultural hang-up, not because anything that God has done. God said both are equally free. Whoever has a field, need, go ahead. Or if you think that your wife's need should be met because he is a traveling salesman, he goes out, don't send your husband away until you satisfy his sexual needs. Because man, if he has his needs not met, if you don't provide your husband food, he will eat from somewhere. I'm not saying there is an excuse, no, that's why God has established marriage. So no bargaining. Women have to understand, men have to understand. Actually, a good husband will never go to his wife because he feels a need, but because he senses that his wife's need is not met. I must satisfy my wife. And as a result of that, in turn, I am also satisfied. The woman does the same thing. I need to satisfy my husband's physical need. In turn, I am also satisfied. Something, women who take initiative in matrimony, in sexual life, have orgasm much more easily attained than where they are, cool and cold, No. So God has arranged it for. These principles are in the Bible. That the husband rendered to the wife, the due benevolence. It's better to marry than to burn. God doesn't want any husband to be burning or wife to be burning, no. The sexual passion should be satisfied, so it's always subsided. Anytime you feel it, you enter into relationship. Don't try to burn it all the way, running and with a lot of evil thoughts in the mind and all that thing. God doesn't want that. God doesn't want that. So why God established marriage? Mainly these three reasons. Number one, companionship. Number two, completion of man's potentials and man's temperament and personality. Third is to satisfy the sexual need. You have any question about it?
As believers, many people say when we enter into marriage is for ministry and all those things. How much is it just?
When they enter into ministry, what they do? People remain single, is that what you asked? I didn't get the question.
They say that when they are married, they look for a partner who will be helpful in ministry.
Oh yeah, they are helpful in many areas. They are the results of it. They are not the purposes, But an elder has to be, a married person, husband of one wife. But you are not marrying so that you could become an elder, If that's the only purpose, if you don't become an elder, what will you do with your wife? Throw her away or something? No. But if these three things are not met, it's a very serious problem. You are not providing.
The other one about this, that's what I want.
Yeah. The other things are all the result.
Exactly.
Yes. Some people do, yes, some people do. This is the wrong thing,
Ministry is one, career, many of those things, when the priorities change.
Yes.
People.
Family first.
People within, say, different. Now, in your outside community, they will talk about business.
Yeah.
We as Christians will talk
Christians
about
also do that. Christians also do that. That's because, their priorities are wrong, their values are wrong, they are not brought up with correct, biblical values. In the family, husband and their parents always talked about money or this and that. They never talked about the joy of family life, you know. Never heard in the family prayers, thank you for my dear wife whom God has given me. I'm so thankful to you for giving me a good wife. She made my life beautiful. I wanted to thank you, Lord. They always say thank you for the rubber estate, thank you for the good rain, thank you for the job and all that. They are the values, you know. They never thank, you know. You thank God for a plate of rice, but you will never thank God for your wife. She doesn't have the value of a plate of rice, I guess. So husband and wife needs to be so thankful to God for giving us a meaningful family life. Thank you for giving me a loving husband who is the best friend. You know. Thank you that he has made me a better woman. You know. I'm more sharpened, I'm a better woman in every respect, my abilities increase because he married me. I'm a better mother, I'm a better teacher, I'm a better artist, I'm a better cook, you know. The man should also say the same thing. Thank you, Lord, for this woman. Since she came to my wife, I'm a better father, I'm a better man, I'm a better teacher, I'm a better preacher. In every sense, the wife is contributing every day. She is sharpening him. But usually that's not happening. Pulling away, pulling down, destroying, So God meant marriage for mutual edification and all that. Yeah. Okay, we have 1 more hour to talk about how to find a partner of this sort, how to discern God's will for your life and all that.